We want to make electronic music that always still has like a rock edge to it. We don't just want to be pure electronic artists. We always want to keep the rock spirit alive.
Rob Ruckus,
Nick Collins,
Kate Clover,
Keith Semple,
Isaiah Mitchell,
Billy Harvey,
Tim Howard. Check it out, Almost Famous Magazine.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Hang, right here on Almost Famous Magazine. I'm your host, Scott Saldinger. Thank you for hanging with us, getting to know musicians well beyond the music, really learning their stories and getting to know them. If you're new to the channel, your first time here, thank you for showing up. You know what to do. Ring the bell, subscribe, tell your friends. If you've come back because you like what we're doing and you have not done any of those three things, what are you waiting for? Help us out. Come on. So, also, if you prefer not to see this all the time, but to take it on the run, I get it. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more, you can find an audio-only version. I am trying to hold back my excitement, but I am super stoked for today's episode. I am joined by indie rock, alt pop, and electronic texture creators, and I'm not quite sure that fits right because in their own words, they are DIY punktronic. ROMES. They've emerged out of Toronto, Canada. I can't wait for the Live at Eaton Center release to be to come out because I can see these guys playing more than the food court with a sound that feels both cinematic and deeply personal. We're going to be joined by brothers Jacob and Nicolas Stone. Their journey from self-produced tracks to an internationally recognized release. They have come off the European tour. They are touring the States right now. I can't wait to find out how they did it because from what I understand, they didn't even have like the massive PR engine behind them. They did it themselves. They give DIY a new name. With emotionally charged songwriting and a pulse on the modern indie scene, ROMES is the kind of music you just don't listen to and hear. Trust me, you feel it. You feel it in your body, your soul, your mind. I'm telling you, by the time we finish up, you're going to be buying this stuff and taking it to the gym. So, do me a favor. I know this is going to be painful, but turn off the angine de poitrine for a few minutes because, you're about to meet the next great export from Canada. Grab a Molson, a bag of Hawkins cheesies, and let's get to know ROMES. Guys, welcome to The Hang.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Scott.
Yeah.
You've been on the road so long. Maybe it's been a while since you had some Hawkins cheesies and a Molson.
It's been a while. I've been kind of craving the all-dressed chips, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to have to talk about? We're going to talk about places to get the best poutine in Toronto. Is that where we're gonna?
Yeah, I mean, if you want like really good poutine, you got to go to Montreal or Quebec. But Toronto's got some all right spots, but it's not. You can't compare it to the Quebec poutine.
Yeah,
that I've had Quebec poutine, and let me tell you. It is something you write home about for sure. I go in the summertime because I have a severe snow allergy, so I can't be in the north during the winter. I did Quebec in February once. That was one more trip than I probably needed.
It's not fun.
Yeah. Well, look, at least you guys are out of there. I mean, I think today it snowed in Canada and Western New York. So somebody said it was spring.
Yeah.
So. I mean, we're here in beautiful Boise right now. It's like, Fahrenheit, probably like 80, 82, something like that. So
sun shining. Yeah.
Sun's been shining like this whole U.S. tour, all 2 weeks so far. We're blessed.
You're fortunate. And I am so pissed I missed Dallas. I wish I could have seen you guys. I am definitely catching a show the next time I get a chance. And by the time we're done, I think everybody else is going to want to too. I want to start though, way back, right? Tell me about how your relationship with music began. I'm always fascinated how that gets started. And then what got you to where you two are today? I know you're brothers, but did it start like simultaneously? Did one of you drag you kicking and screaming into music? How'd the relationship begin? Did you guys find music or did music find you? Tell me the story.
It was kind of just a result of our upbringing and like, I guess ultimately props to our parents. Like, both of our parents, both very musical, not professionally, but just loved music. We grew up in a household where, always playing vinyl records. Our dad had a huge vinyl collection. He was always spinning records across all genres in the house. Grand piano, like jamming out with us after school every day, making his own mixtapes, playing it in the car on the drives to school. And it was like, man, it was everything from like new wave to just hard rock, hip hop, electronic, grunge, like whole spectrum of genres. He'd make these mixtapes. So we got influenced by all these different amazing genres at such a young age. And I think it was around, I was like 9, Jake was 5. I got a drum kit. He started messing around with guitar. And then we moved to Ireland, and we had a little like coach house in our, like behind the house in Ireland, like way out in the countryside. So our parents turned it into a little music studio. And after school every day, we would just go there and we would jam, cover songs. And then they got an 8-track recorder, and we started like writing our own really shitty demos and recording those. And it all just kind of like developed. We got into it at a young age and just went through so many different iterations of bands with our friends over the years, and finally led us to just Jake and I
do it ourselves.
Just the two bros.
Yeah.
Well, now let me ask you this: you're over in Ireland. Any chance while you're out in that shed jamming away that Bono passed on a bicycle and knocked on the door?
No, unfortunately not.
Never happened, huh?
Well, one of our friends did live down the street from Bono.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we never saw him. Saw him.
Well, then it wasn't a good enough friend. I try to dig into people's catalog, and I have a question that I typically ask people, but I can't pinpoint one myself after listening to your music. I look at a music as a meal. Like, what's going to whet your appetite, right? Get you through the appetizer, go to the main course. You've got 16 songs on this album. I mean, and it spans a lot. I mean, there's one I just started. I can't remember the name, but I thought like, wow, these guys are like R&B. They're doing some R&B, and the next thing you know, oh wait a minute, they're rocking, and then oh wait, this is electronic, and I'm like, I can't put my finger on it, but I'm loving this, right? So for someone who hasn't heard your music yet, they're just seeing us right now. From each of you, is there a song on the album, and it doesn't have to be a single, because I know you had some singles, but is there a song that you feel is like the best starting point to get to know you guys?
I don't think there's a song per se, but I think it's more just the attitude. And we always basically we want to make electronic music that always still has like a rock edge to it. We don't just want to be pure electronic artists. We always want to keep the rock spirit alive. So I don't know if I had to pick, what would you say? Like Another Day or something?
Yeah. Another Day kind of bridges that gap between electronic and rock punk attitude in a pretty good way, which I think is ultimately not intentionally, but kind of what became the sound of the album. So I think, Another Day. Let's go with that.
Okay. So how did, you had some bands before. How did you land on this idea of kind of this punk electronic, this kind of fusion of sounds?
We grew up listening to a lot of electronic music. Like Jake's first CD he ever got was Daft Punk's Homework when he was like, I don't know,
7 or something.
7 years old or something. My dad and I went to the HMV record store in Toronto and bought it for him for his birthday. And then we woke him up the next morning playing it on the boombox in his room, and he was so stoked on it. Yeah. So we grew up listening to a lot of electronic music. And then with this record, when we started the whole songwriting process, we hadn't really owned any analog synthesizers before. So we bought a couple, started messing around with them. And then it kind of rekindled our love for electronic music and experimentation. But we came from a rock background ultimately. And so it kind of naturally just happened that the two worlds collided, and we were having a lot of fun finding ways to use these analog synthesizers in kind of different ways. We were some of the songs we were triggering it with an acoustic drum kit in order to get the parts out of it. And yeah, it just kind of happened naturally from a lot of experimentation in our basement studio.
Well, I mean, I think the experimentation part. I saw a video that like I've probably watched it 6 or 7 times, where I forget the name of the kind of a light bar with 4 lights, and you hooked it up to a drum kit, and you're playing the drum kit and the. I mean, the inspiration to do something like that, right? And to like, hey, I got 2 hands, but I can't hold this thing, and then just to be able to jam out like that. I mean, did you come from a technical background to be able to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe if I do this, this, and this, or has it been a lot of just trying to get it right and figure out what to do to get to where you want to go?
Yeah, it's been a lot of trial and error. I mean, I think the whole mindset with Sonic Trash and those clips that we're posting on social media, it's kind of like we're always looking for new ways to create sounds with sound design. And so any crazy idea that pops into our head, we're like, okay, now how do we make that work? And initially we have no clue how to make it work, but it's just, I don't know, a lot of trial and error, hooking things up until it finally does. Sometimes the results are cool, sometimes the results are shit, but we found it like a lot of enjoyment and fun in that process of just not really having an agenda, or trying to create something specific. It was just like, let's integrate some gear in unconventional ways and see what comes out of it. And I think, like with a lot of the songs on Sonic Trash, they were created with some like really wacky idea, and it might have just, spawned some like small clip of a sound or an idea that inspired us to then flesh it out into a full song.
Let me ask you this, because I there's a lot of sounds. There's a lot of sounds. Are either of you guys just walk around recording different ambient noises and different things you hear, and then start playing with them? Because it didn't sound like your traditional, hey, they found a box of sounds, right, which you can easily do. It really sounds like you put some real thought into the texture and the audio landscape that you were working with.
Yeah, so what I ended up doing, like for a lot of the samples on the record and a lot of the like textural stuff that you're talking about, we ended up making this folder of like hundreds of these little sound clips that we had recorded from all of these experiments that we had done in our studio while recording the album, and they never became a
Full
song.
songs, yeah.
But we just had like a 5-second clip, a 20-second clip of these like random sounds, and then we went back through this folder and we just like micro sampled all of these audio clips that we had recorded and used those. Like it could have been some crazy synth sound that we recorded and we use that as like a snare sample,
Yeah.
or whatever. And so all these like really weird kind of sonic landscapes from these experiments kind of found their way into the songs in one way or another.
Yeah, no, the palette you're working with, right? It's attention grabbing, because whatever you've done, they're not, as listening to it, I'm like, it's not this, it's not that. There's something in there in between, but it's new and fresh. And I really enjoyed that. And I think that that's really ear catching, because we live in a day and age, it's just too easy to press one button, get something out, and just make something out of that. Right. There's no vanilla on this album at all. When it comes to kind of the cinematic soundscape piece of this, because you can definitely close your eyes and envision, I mean, a lot of different, whether it's sci-fi, chase scenes, whatever. Are you guys cinematically inclined? Are you movie buffs? Have you studied film and sound together? I mean, or is this just part of that, getting together and going, hey, let's throw some stuff in a pot and see what we can cook up?
Like, I think for this album, we didn't intentionally try to make it like cinematic or make it like, I don't know, sound like epic or anything.
No,
but
we didn't. But like it's interesting because I I guess it was a few months before we started recording this album, we got hit up by Jack Wall, the like main composer of Call of Duty Black Ops soundtracks. He found us on Instagram from these like experiments we were posting on Instagram, and hit us up to collab on the Black Ops 6 soundtrack. And that was our like getting our feet wet into the video game space, something that we never saw ourselves getting into. And that just kind of like came our way because of, again, like this unintentional like passion for sound design. And I guess he saw the vision and thought it would fit in the video game space. And like maybe that came across then when we were writing the album. It definitely wasn't intentional, but I'm sure, you know, somehow subconsciously working on that project kind of found its way into Sonic Trash.
Yeah, no, I mean it definitely, it's got a movement, it's got a feel, and I could see, you know, having been a former filmmaker, a lot of different places I could see it, where when music makes me think of a scene, right, that really has gone well beyond just a song, right? It becomes theater of the mind, and you know, it's got some of it's got a matrixy kind of feel, for lack of another term, I guess. But it definitely, I could see a lot of soundtrack work probably in your future, especially in video games, which let's be honest. I mean, in this day and age, video game money's not so bad, right?
We could do with some more video games, that's for sure.
So the two of you have been together since birth, or well, since your brother was born, and you make music together, you write together. What's the process between the two of you that keeps it? There's some brotherly love there, and keeps the energy between you.
So Nick is more the like business orientated guy. I wouldn't be able to do this without him taking care of all the finances and business side of things. I used to be like the more creative one, but now we both kind of handle the creative side together as well. And we just have a very good like rapport with each other, and we know what pisses each other off, so we kind of try to stay away from that, but
it works most of
the time, and we just have a very good relationship. I think again, it just comes down to jamming at such a young age. We kind of just know what works and know how to feel each other out. Yeah.
And I guess, you know, like I was talking about earlier, we've been in a lot of different bands with other members, and at the end of the day, it ended up being the two of us, because I think we've always kind of been on that same wavelength creatively. But I guess, you know, like ultimately we both kind of come up with ideas. Jake's like the arrangement guy. I can't put a song together. I can come up with a cool sounding like 10-second clip of an idea, and then I just fire it off to Jake, and within a day he's like got, you know, the bones of a song going. He mixes everything, he masters everything. He's got all those chops. I just like screw around on my drum kit, hooking it up to different various things.
Now, for the female voices that you've used, how did you decide which, you know, who to work with? You know, to me, and I didn't look too deeply into who else is on the album, but it sounds like you have a variety of voices. Who did you work with to get the some of those vocal sounds?
That's all Jake.
Wait, that's all Jake singing?
Yep. And then we just use like
a voice generator,
generator, transformer, whatever. But like he's literally sang all those parts into a microphone, and then we changed the voice.
Wow, I had no idea. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, give a little variety on the album, but yeah, no featured vocalists.
Yeah.
Wow, oh, that's super cool. I'm listening, going, wait a minute, who does that sound like? Now I knew it wasn't Celine Dion, which I think isn't it a requirement when you're Canadian that you have to incorporate some influences from like Rush, Celine Dion, Bryan Adams, Loverboy, or Neil Young? It's a law or something, or is ChatGPT wrong?
Yeah, we're breaking the law.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Rebels for sure.
Oh, yeah.
what has it been like to kind of find lightning in a bottle? Because you guys did this, and if I understand it correctly, and if I'm wrong, let me know. You guys kind of just put it together, put it out there, and it grew its own steam. How did that whole thing happen?
I think it's kind of interesting because we had been in a couple like label deals in the past. We did not like them. So we found ways to get out of those deals. And then with this project, we decided like, screw that. We're keeping everything in house. We're going to do everything ourselves, 100% independent. And it kind of allowed us to, set our own release schedules, just do literally everything involved with the project on our own terms. And, so we were doing things like with the singles. We released 6 singles before the album was out. They came out 2 weeks apart, which people don't do that. Everyone says, do it 4 to 6 weeks, whatever. We're like, no, screw it, 2 weeks apart. Try and build the momentum that way. And I think ultimately it started when we started posting the things that we were doing in our studio. At the time, it was just, like I said, trying to come up with cool sounds, parts for the album. We thought what we were coming up with was sounding sweet. So we're like, let's set up a camera and just post the results online and kind of show people the process. And it seemed to start kind of building this community of people, I guess, who agreed that what we were doing was cool and like a little bit different. And so before the album came out, before we started rolling out the singles, it felt like we were kind of building a small community online, so that then when the singles and the album started coming out, it was kind of like this organic thing where people were excited without us having to like shove it down people's throats,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing how you guys just nowadays, it does typically take a fair amount of money, a team, and all that other stuff to build that. And you did it on your own, which is I applaud you for that, because it's finding an audience and then growing it to the point where they're passionate enough to share it is challenging enough in and of itself. And I think I wrote a quote where, you've had people come up to your shows going, look, I heard about you, I had to buy a ticket. I mean, that is a connection that it can take years for people to build as an artist, right?
Yeah, like honestly, it was insane. Like, it was mind blowing when we were over in Europe, and like you said, people were coming up to us after the shows saying like, I saw a clip of yours on Instagram. I watched like 5 seconds of it and then went and bought a ticket. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like we were shocked, honestly, with the turnouts that we had in Europe. It was our first time there. It was our first headline tour, and to get like the reception that we had over there, it was incredible.
Yeah.
It really was.
Since the album came out and you've been on this tour, especially hitting up Europe before the States, have you had like a pinch me moment where you've been like, I can't believe this is actually happening? Like, how did this happen? How did we get here?
I mean, I think just on the European tour, just finding out like a lot of the shows were selling out and like sold out.
Yeah,
I think that was like a huge,
when the
like,
first one sold out, it was like, wait, what the fuck's going on here? And then like the next one, and I think half the tour ended up selling out. I think on that tour though, the Munich show was like the first one. I don't know. Again, it goes back to like what we're doing, trying to bridge electronic music with like this punk rock energy. So it was just like the Munich show was wild because like 1 minute everyone would just be like cutting up rugs on the dance floor, and then like 10 seconds later they're going nuts moshing out. Yeah. Like it was just like the best of both worlds. Wow. And I remember looking out and just being like, this is fucking cool.
I mean, it's really, I've watched some of the videos. It's really amazing. I mean, we do a lot with punk here on the podcast. We've done a couple of years worth of punk rock bowling, and we've had a ton of punk artists, and it's a challenge to straddle genres, right? Because audiences, right? A punk audience has a different ethos than other audiences, and then a country has their own ethos, and pop and electronic, EDM, everything. But to be able to straddle both and get them all in the room to connect together, I think is something magical and special that you guys have succeeded at.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And it's funny you say that, because we were actually talking to, like right now we're in the US, we're supporting Des Rocks from New York, and we were having a chat with him in the green room the other night, and he was kind of saying the same thing. And it's like, because he feels he's doing a similar thing with his music, not necessarily the same genre, but it's kind of a blessing and a curse when you're making music that doesn't really fit in a specific lane or genre. It's cool, and like that's ultimately what we want to be doing, because we want to try and be a little bit different, and we're just doing what feels right by kind of pulling all of our different influences together. But at the end of the day, it's like it's harder to maybe gain traction because you're not just getting all the fans who like love this one particular genre, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think when you there's something to be said though about having that ability to do that. I mean, whatever you've tapped into, you tapped into the right thing at the right time for sure. And I mean, I definitely think, at least down, the vibe here in the States for punk right now is punk needs a lot of energy, right? Because we're having, punk always seems to rise when there's social dilemma, right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of amazing punk bands. I mean, I could see you guys doing a tour, with like a Fiddler, or even going out probably with Bad Cop, right? I mean, just doing a punk tour where you bring the energy and you bring each other new audiences, and you get them in the same room and find that then they find an appreciation, right? I could see something like that happening, and it being a great experience.
Honestly, one of the coolest things on this tour, it's people saying to us after the show, like, I've never heard music like this before. Like, what is it? And we're like, I don't know. We're just making tunes. But it's cool to like basically introduce a new, like you were saying, a new sort of style of music to someone that hasn't really heard that before.
Yeah, been exposed to it.
Yeah. No, I mean, listening to it, the thing that really draws me to new music these days is when someone's taking such a risk to try something that just hasn't really percolated anywhere else, and they own it and they can really connect. It's so hard to do these days because we have so much content, right? Mm-hmm. So to be able to do that is a blessing in and of itself, regardless of the genres. But to say, hey, we're willing to take a huge risk, bring something together, and then for people to love it and feel passionate about it. I mean, that's, that it's so hard to do. There's so many people trying, and you guys have really struck a nerve. And I think it's amazing because, I could see you guys at punk festivals, but I could also see you at Electronic Daisy.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think it gives you an opportunity in a crowded world of music these days, call it what it is, to be able to get a lot more opportunity than some of these acts that just kind of they stay in a lane.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Are you hitting Las Vegas on this tour?
No Vegas.
Have you guys been in a while? Have you guys been?
Been once, but it was only like driving through. So we hit a casino and lost money for an hour, and then made our way on.
All right, guys, you got to get booked in Vegas. Number one, so you can go to the Punk Rock Museum. It's fucking cool. It is badass. Okay. And I could see you guys. They have whose garage was it? Was it Pennywise? No. Yeah, I think Pennywise. They uploaded they brought a punk garage from a farthest. Why do I want to say Pennywise? But it's the evening. It's been a long day. But like they do shows there. I could see you guys there, or see you guys. There's so many great punk bands in Las Vegas right now. Finding other people to play with on bills, or even seeing you guys playing at the Double Down, and just lighting the place up. So definitely in your next time out on tour, you gotta put Vegas on the map. What comes next? You've got about a month and a half or so left, and I was shocked you're not even finishing the tour in Toronto. You're gonna go through Toronto and hit Massachusetts and New York. But what comes next? Is there already some songs in the can? Do you guys have a plan to produce something quickly?
Definitely getting right back in the studio when we get back home after this.
Been creating
end of
on the road,
April.
though.
Yeah. Like we work on stuff while we're in the road, like in the car. There's a lot of driving across the US, as you're obviously aware. So a lot of downtime, hotels, car rides, working on stuff. And then once we get back in the studio, hopefully get some new music out this fall. That would be the plan. But we'll see how it all goes.
How did you? I'm sitting there going, okay, the name of the ROMES, and then I came across your Instagram, and I'm like, Raw Overdriven Mind Expansion Systems. It almost sounds like a company out of like a sci-fi movie for a company that's trying to take over the world. How'd you guys come up with that one?
Here we go. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Really? No.
We're a band trying to take over the world.
Yeah.
So you almost got it 100%.
But no, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like it is kind of a cool thing that we wanted it to kind of sound like an incorporation or something. Like,
it's kind of like a Tony Stark kind of feel to it, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's just like it's an acronym that we felt summarizes the music and what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like everything's. You should see like Jake's Ableton sessions with the songs. Like everything's clipping to shit. It's like everything's just overdriven. Oh, here's a snare drum. Let's run that through like a guitar amplifier and distort the shit out of it.
And I used to really care about like making sure, like, a couple years ago that like everything was like clean and not clipping, and
like
now
everything just
gone
peaks.
complete the opposite.
More distortion, the better. That's the motto.
Yeah.
Always. Well, I think that music has lost a little bit of that. I think music has become a little too clean, if we can say it that way. Mm-hmm. I think that when the sound is too clean, it's almost kind of too comfortable, right? I think it keeps you in your lane, whereas you do something like add overdrive, you add distortion, you push people to a new boundary, so they have to work a little bit. And I think that's another thing that gives you an opportunity to draw them in, because it becomes thinking music at that point, right? It's just not.
I think, we've just gotten to the stage now with our music where if it's not like pushing the limits or the like clipping, we kind of find it sounds a bit stale or boring.
Yeah.
So we just got to always be in the red zone.
Nice.
Yep.
Now, life is this journey that we go on, and I'm always fascinated. We have somebody, typically a few people, who come through our life. Maybe we encounter them once, maybe they stick around a while, but they impart something upon us that we take with us, and we hold it pretty close, and sometimes we give it to others, whether it's advice or an idea or just something they've said. Have each of you had anybody in your musical careers kind of come along and deposit something, and you're like, holy cow, it's profound, and I'm gonna use it, and it sticks with you? It's stickier than most encounters and most things that people have told you. Anybody like that in your life?
I mean, I'm sure like our dad definitely,
Yeah, what did he say?
He says a lot of things. A lot of good advice. I just can't think of any offhand, but he's always telling us to use our heads when we're out on the road.
Yeah, parstono is the Macedonian term. Yeah. That's our dad's side heritage. Yeah. He did, like, both of our parents, like, pretty early on just said, it might sound cliche, but they were just like, do what makes you happy and do what you want to do. And I think it stuck with me because, like, out of university, I went and I was working in a bank, and while still playing music, and I joke about it with my dad because I'd be like at my cubicle and I'd be sending him photos of me at my desk, like pretending to hang myself with my tie at work because I just hated it. And then like we finally got our first tour opportunity as a previous band, and it basically got to the classic crossroads where it's like, all right, which path are you going to choose? And it was music. That was my number one passion. That's what made me happy. Obviously had to take that like leap of faith and risk and give up the paycheck, but you know, we grinded it out and stuck with it. It's taken a lot of years, but we're getting there.
I think another one for me was we got pretty tight with Sebastian Granger from Death from Above, 1979. We've been friends for like probably 15 years or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's super simple, but he just said like just always make the music for yourself, like for yourself first. Don't worry about like other people; they'll find you. And it took us a while to get there because I think back in the day we were still kind of
there's all those like external influences.
Yeah,
like, oh, is this going to be good for radio?
Is
this going to be good for
second guessing yourself?
Is this going to be good for like Spotify, Apple playlists, whatever? And I think this, like with Sonic Trash, was the first time where we honestly just made the music that we've always wanted to make and didn't give a shit about like anything else. Mm-hmm. And we kind of just did it for ourselves. So that's why it's like so amazing to see that like people are into it.
It makes it so much more rewarding and special for us.
Is there, because I going to film school and doing photography, and there have been things that I've created that I'm like, oh my God, this just rocks. This is going to be amazing. And then people are like, yeah, whatever. And then there's stuff that I don't put a lot of effort in. And they're like, oh my God, that's incredible. I'm like, really? It looks like shit, right? Hey, are there any songs that you've done, that you've released where you're like, oh my God, this is going to be it, and then the audience reacted a different way? Or you're like, well, it's pretty good, but we got to get something out, and then suddenly, boom, everyone loves it. Have you been through anything like that?
Not necessarily with like the audience, but between us, it happens sometimes where like vice versa. Like I'll write a song that I think shit, but then you'll be like, no, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think we've ever released a song that we weren't both like, fuck yeah, this is the best thing that we've done. We'd never want to like put a song out like just to put a song out. So everything we've done at that time,
it's like a chapter in our
career.
Like we obviously thought it was the best thing we could have done at that time.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we're always pumped with what we put out. Very excited.
And with this album, Sonic Trash, it's because it's 16 songs or whatever, and we have people like the audience that don't like, everyone has their own favorite song. Like it's not usually just like everyone likes this song. It's like everyone has their own pick.
Well, one of the things that I don't know how much time and effort you put in the sequencing, but it feels like a journey. The album is a front to back, feels like a journey, not kind of a drop in and shuffle. Mm-hmm. Was there a lot of tell me about the thought process behind the sequencing and the flow of the album?
Yeah, it was intentional.
We definitely knew we wanted to start with like a bang, basically, with this opening track, Sonic Trash, just kind of a big, energetic kind of explosion.
Yeah, and we decided to use that as the first single as well, just because it was so different from anything we had done in the past that we were just like, this is a good representation of the album, and it's such a departure from our previous work.
And we open with it live too.
Yeah. But we knew that, the art of the album does seem lost these days, obviously, with streaming culture. And so this being our debut album, we wanted to make it a bit more special. So like, that's really cool that you kind of appreciate the sequencing and feel that it takes you on a journey. Cause I guess, we were trying to get that across. But yeah, it kind of goes through some different emotion. There's some like more chill moments, but they're kind of placed together. Lyrically, things kind of flow between songs. So it tells a story, and I'm glad you you feel that way.
Yeah, it's because it's easy to. I think it's easy. There are a lot of like more dancey, more kind of techno or EDM. It's like you could have a dozen songs, 16, whatever, and you can just each one of them's individual, and you could take or leave it. They don't, no matter what order you put them in. But this feels intentional. It really does, and I like that because I think one of the things that we've lost a good amount of ability to is to go from front to back and go on the journey with the artist.
Mhm.
And then there are artists these days who they're not creating for that journey. They're just putting a bunch of songs together and it goes out. And you can kind of feel that it doesn't have the same thought to it. So I could definitely tell you guys put some work into it.
Yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
Thanks for noticing that.
Yeah. Your time out on the road and having to create content and all the stuff you do. What do you do to keep yourself physically and emotionally healthy while you're away on the road?
Physically shows 100%.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I kid you not, like this Europe was especially insane, but even on this tour,
We're playing for like
it's a
almost
40
double the
it's a
time,
40-minute set as support here. And Jake and I are both walking off stage every night, like head to toe, like pants are dripping.
Looks like
in
we just
sweat.
got in the shower in our clothes.
Yeah. Like we're laying it all out there. And so I don't know. Some guy was joking to me after our show last night in Spokane. He was like, "You need to put like an Apple Watch or some sort of like calorie tracker around your ankle on your kick pedal foot." And just see how many calories you're burning, because it's kind of
crazy. Yeah,
it's probably something crazy.
I was look. I'm an Apple Fitness fanatic. My watch and I have a love-hate relationship. But I was just thinking the same thing because like they released an update where you can create your own workouts now, so you could have show workout and see what it does because it sounds like that is a good day's workout in and of itself.
Oh yeah,
I'm just like between that and the like loading the gear in and out of the venue too.
Yeah.
We have a lot of heavy gear, so
yeah,
that's our work. That's our gym.
Mentally,
How about
we've
eventually
found ourselves listening to a lot of Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville on Sirius XM. Sun shining, just roll the windows down on the drive. Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah,
that's nice. That's nice. One of the things that we enjoy doing in our conversations while we're hanging out is to put some things out there that, you never know what could happen, right? We learned early on with this podcast that, some guy drove 3 hours for an album release he's from San Francisco, was living in Germany and drove to Munich just to see this one performer because he saw him on the podcast, right? So we know that putting things out there gets them outside your head, puts them in the real world. So I'm always interested in the kind of the dream collaboration. I mean, I don't see a vision board back there. I just see the standard hotel painting. But when you've had an opportunity and you think about, wow, it'd be really cool to get in a studio with this person and be creative for a day and see what happens. Do you each have someone that if that could happen, it would be like, complete, I hate to say bucket list, but definitely a high point?
I feel like we probably both have the same one.
Like three.
So I'll let Jake go first. Like you can only say one.
Just gonna nod in approval or say no.
You can only say one because you can't take all of mine. But I know you're gonna say who I'm thinking.
Well, you're wearing their T-shirt right now, so
okay, then go. No, that's not who I was gonna say.
I was gonna say Daft Punk would be number one, probably.
I'd go with Trent Reznor. I think I might be in the minority here, but like obviously 9 Inch Nails fans, they love like the early stuff. For me, the Year Zero album is like
ahead of its time.
I don't even know how to describe it, but the production on that album and all the sound design is like, it's like number one for me.
Well, why don't we work with all three? The two Daft Punk guys and Trent Reznor.
Yeah, we'll all get together and make an album.
Yeah.
You know what? You never know. It's out there now. You never know if someone's watching and they're connected to Daft Punk, or maybe they deliver Uber Eats to Trent Reznor. I don't know. Maybe they walk his dog or pick up his dry cleaning.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. Make the connection for these guys. Make some amazing things happen. you guys have your music for sale. We believe in buying music, borrowing it, right? Listening for free does not help an artist, right? And the business is what it is these days. And even though they're getting some video game money, which is amazing, and some soundtrack money, they've got to support themselves. And we need to support our artists. So they have links down below to purchase their music. If you go to shows, buy music at shows, buy merch, buy the damn ticket, go see the show. You never know who you're going to see on a bill these days that a year or two from now could just be blowing up, and you can say, I saw them when. So all the links will be in below so that you can help support ROMES. The way that we kind of round these out is, I'm always interested when someone's not being creative themselves. When someone's not being creative themselves, right? And they're not just in the car listening to Jimmy Buffett, but when you're trying to relax, or you're out the gym yourself, or you're doing something, who are a couple of artists? And look, it totally could be Rush, it could be Sloan, another great Canadian band. Yeah. But like, who are some artists that you listen to that just kind of speak to you when you're not really in the space of making your own music?
Yeah, so it's funny. Like, we were actually talking about this the other day, how when, like, whether it's at home, back home in Toronto, or even on tour, we generally don't listen. Yeah, we don't listen to like the music. Like obviously we like Nine Inch Nails, we like Daft, but we don't necessarily are listening to that in the car.
Yeah.
So a huge one for me, probably for the past like 4 years, helps me like zone out after shows and helps me just chill, is Sade. Yeah, I just love her voice, love the calmness. Just puts me in a zen mood.
Yeah, I feel like
you're literally a step away. I had a guest recently would have never nailed this one in a million years, but his is Enya.
So see, yeah, it's kind of similar.
So yeah, see,
yeah.
It puts you in a place.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's kind of the opposite. Like, I guess because we're, releasing a lot of energy on
always
stage every night and
music,
stuff,
yeah.
and it's all the chill stuff. Like, I love listening to like chill electronic music, like John Hopkins, The Field, stuff like that. Especially driving, especially like night drives. It's like
instrumental stuff,
prime time driving music. You can just cruise on the highway and listen to that and kill time easy.
Yeah. No, it's always interesting, because I think the great assumption of people is, oh, they make this type of music, they must listen to that type of music, right? And sometimes you just kind of want to release and get away, and you need something else to recharge your batteries. So it's always interesting to get an idea of what people are listening to when they're not creating themselves.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been incredible. I'm telling you, everyone watching who's stuck with us this long and are hanging with us, you've got to buy this music. You must put it on whatever device that you take to the gym, because tomorrow's workout is to this music. Absolutely 100% sure. The energy you're going to get off of it is incredible. I'm enjoying it. I think if you get a chance to see the guys out on the road, you've got to go to a show, and keep them on your acts to watch, because I think they are going to just blow up the world, and create an audience out of people who may have never been an audience together before. And I think that's one of the greatest things. Your music is definitely going to bring people together, and you guys are going to be huge. I see great things in the future for you guys. You're standing out in a sea of sameness these days, and I can appreciate that, and see what an audience will like for you. So
thanks so much.
I appreciate you taking time out of your tour, and just kind of hanging out. And when you guys do, when the next album's coming around, let's do this again and talk about it.
Sounds like
man, it was great talking to you. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Good to get to know you, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us again. Purchase their music, purchase the tickets. The links are down below. And in the meantime, show yourself a little love and kindness. Do the same for others. The world can use that now in so many ways. It's a tough journey, and we're all in it together. So Till the next time, guys, I appreciate you making time for me while on the road. And everybody go out, check them out. Jacob, Nicolas, it's been a pleasure. This has been really great getting to know you guys. So be safe out there.
Likewise, man. Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Till next time, everybody. Bye-bye.